Hey everyone, welcome to obesitykure.clinic. This is Islam. Today in this video, I talk about why honey is not recommended for infants who are less than 1 year of age. Now, why less than 1 year of age? And what is there in honey that may create problem for the infants who are less than 1 year of age? So I will cover all this information today in this video. Now, if infants are fed honey, then the infants can develop a serious condition called botulism. If the honey is contaminated with some spores produced by a bacteria called Clostridium Botulinum. Now, Clostridium Botulinum is relatively large rod-shaped spore-forming bacteria. Now these bacteria, when they are out of nutrients, when they are lack of nutrients, they start forming spores to become inactive or dormant so that they can survive for an extended period of time without any supply of nutrient for years and years, right? And when these spores are exposed to a favorable condition, then these spores starts reactivating themselves. Now this is an interesting character of this bacteria. Now the botulism is very rare but potentially very fatal illness caused by a neurotoxin produced by this bacteria Clostridium botulinum. Now infant botulism was first recognized in 1976 in America. These bacteria are mainly found in soil and water, and they cannot survive in high acidic medium. As soil and water are low acidic, so they can survive here. Now after ingestion of honey, if the honey is contaminated with these spores produced by this particular bacteria, especially to infants, if this kind of honey is fed to infants who are less than 1 year of age, then this spores reactivates the bacteria. And the bacteria starts colonizing the intestine of the infants, and the spores release a neurotoxin called botulinum, and then it is absorbed in the bloodstream, and then it creates problem for the infants. Now what it does, after getting absorbed in the bloodstream, the neurotoxin botulinum, it interferes with neural transmission. Now a transmission between two neurons called neural transmission by blocking the release of a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine from presynaptic motor neurons. Now motor neurons are the neurons that send signals to muscle fibers to cause contraction, right? And acetylcholine is the principal neurotransmitter at the neuromuscular junction. Now neurotransmitters are the chemical messengers that sends signals to any other cell, whether it is nerve cell or muscle cells or any other cell, to cause an effect, right? And this acetylcholine is the principal neurotransmitter, chemical messenger at the neuromuscular junction. Neuromuscular junction is the junction where a motor neuron and muscle fiber is connected, through which motor neuron is allowed to transmit a signal through this chemical messenger acetylcholine to cause muscle contraction. So acetylcholine is responsible for your muscle contraction. So when your muscle contracts, then only you can move, you can create the movement, then your bone can move. When your muscle contracts, for example your bicep muscles contract, so the forearms, the bone of the forearms can move, comes forward. So like this, in any area of your body, if you want to move it, then muscle contraction must be there. But if this neurotransmitter acetylcholine is blocked, the release of acetylcholine is blocked, then it can impair the muscle contraction. The muscle contraction cannot occur, it is impossible. So thus it can cause serious complications like paralysis. Now let's discuss about the other serious complications in the body after getting blocked the release of acetylcholine in the body. So when the release of acetylcholine is blocked in an infant body, then the symptoms an infant go through, the first symptom is that, which is very common, is constipation due to lack of decreased in peristaltic movement. Now peristaltic movement is an involuntary movement that occurs in your smooth muscles. For example, your food pipe, whenever you eat something, there is a movement called peristaltic movement. It's automatically, it contracts and push the food inside your stomach. So the same way, in your colon, there is also involuntary movement that contracts the which contracts the muscles of the colon, and that helps to excrete the waste. So because of the blocking mechanism of the acetylcholine, it results in decrease of that peristaltic movement, thus it leads to constipation. Okay, and the second is that weakness of the muscles responsible for eye movement, and that leads to double vision and drooping of eyelids. Again, weakness of the muscles responsible for facial movement, that leads to loss of facial expression and difficulty in talking as well. Muscles responsible for chewing and swallowing, so difficulty in chewing and swallowing. So these are the complications occur. And apart from that, one of the severe complications is that it results in reduced movement of muscles of respiration, which leads to, hence there is a problem in gas exchange that leads to buildup of carbon dioxide more and less oxygen in the body, in the blood, and because of which ultimately it may lead to respiratory failure. So this is really a serious complication, right? So that's why we should not take risk even if it is rare. The botulism is rare. Now, why an infant who is less than 1 year of age cannot fight the bacteria, but the infants who are older than 1 year of age, they can fight it? Because the stomach of the infants, in the gut, in the gastrointestinal tract of an infant who is less than 1 year of age, they have insufficient gut microbiome. These are the good bacteria or microorganisms that helps to fight any harmful microorganism which enters the gastrointestinal tract. But as they are insufficient in numbers, so they cannot it's not sufficient to kill the bacteria, Clostridium botulinum. Again, as I said, this bacteria, Clostridium botulinum, cannot survive high acidic medium, but the stomach of an infant who is less than 1 year of age actually low acidic due to low release of bile acid, an acid made by the liver, especially to break down the fats, as well as less release of hydrochloric acids. Okay, so as the stomach of the infant is not that acidic, low acidic, so they survive the stomach as well. And so these are the situation or conditions that contribute, or that provides a favorable condition for the bacteria or the spores to colonize the intestine and creates the problem. As soon as the baby starts eating solid food, the stomach starts to release more acid, like bile acid, hydrochloric acid, so the stomach becomes more acidic, and as well as the number of gut microbiome, the good bacteria, also start increasing. Then it becomes stronger to fight that bacteria, fight this kind of bacteria. So it is safe, as soon as the baby starts eating solid food or the stomach becomes acidic. So it's like after a year they actually develop that protective mechanism. So if you want to feed your baby honey, then it's better that you don't take risk before 1 year of age. After that, after 1 year of age, you want to, then you should feed your baby honey, right?